What kind of pathetic, low-life loser would buy that $100 Virtual Boy slop from Nintendo? I would. Man, I think this is so cool. When Nintendo announced this Virtual Boy accessory, man, that's too big. I gotta put that down. I thought this was the coolest thing. I could not believe they did it. Now, and it just came out at the time of the recording this video, and so many people are mad online. People who bought it, people who didn't buy it, and I think it's funny. And like looking at all like the picture of this, it's just like, this really leads me to believe that I like truly believe that Nintendo is going to release a Nintendo DS accessory for the Nintendo Switch 2. But before we get into that, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. At the time of recording this, the count is at 937. And so every subscriber from here on out is really felt. So if you've been enjoying the content, do please consider hitting the subscribe button. And looking at my analytics, there are about 1,600 of you casual viewers out there, but only 937 are subscribed. So, do consider hitting subscribe. I really appreciate everybody who does and who likes the videos and into the comments. But let's continue on with the video. So first off, with the intro of this video, that really represents all the haters I'm seeing online about like, who would buy this? Who would buy this? And it's just like, yeah, you can only use this headset with like Nintendo Switch Online. Like it's $100 for this accessory, and to only be able to use it on a paid subscription service. Like, yeah, that like does not sound good on paper, but like, honestly, this is really just like a niche collector's item. Like this is, to me, is like no different than like an amiibo or any other type of collectible out there. Yeah, I probably will open it. The box is pretty big, and I have a space on a shelf in like my room upstairs. I think I'm gonna put it on display. Like, I've always like wanted to like play the Virtual Boy, but I've never wanted to just like see what it is, But like, I never wanted to buy a used one off eBay. Like, it's probably so grimy and gross, and it's like, no matter if I bought a real Virtual Boy or like this one and like play the games on NSO, like no matter what, this is like a weekend thing, or like it's really not that big of a thing. I don't mind it being on the Nintendo Switch Online service. Like, who knows when I'm gonna play this? Like, I bought this now because like I feel like that the production of this, like I really don't feel like they're gonna be making many of these, so I just wanted to secure one. And yeah, like they have the cardboard accessory, right? And we'll get into that a little bit, but like there's like the $25 cardboard accessory version. Anyway, more than anything else, this is a collector's item to me. But then again, even with the NSO, it's like you can use a Switch 1 on this. Like, you don't need to use a Switch 2 on this thing. And the Switch 1 has already been like hacked and you're able to mod it. So like the whole like argument of like you can only use this for the Nintendo Switch Online service, like I'm sure people are going to find a way to get modded versions of stuff on like the Switch 1. And the Virtual Boy only has like 14 games. Maybe there'll be a homebrew game sometime. So it's like, I'm not really worried about it. 20 years from now, there's gonna be ways to use this without NSO. But since I don't plan on actually playing it right away, and I've even been debating opening the box right away or not, because like I said, first and foremost, this is really just a collectible item to me. I have been watching other YouTubers doing like their unboxings and like get their impressions of it. And some of like one of the biggest complaints I'm seeing across the board is with the Virtual Boy app. And that apparently this has been like known like in the fine prints like online and whatever if you look it up, but like no one reads that, so it's like no one really knew. But you need this headset to play the Virtual Boy games. Like you can't play them on dock mode, and if you try to play them on dock mode, it's just blocked. And to which I say, no duh, like that is why they have the $25 cardboard option. Like it was pretty obvious, at least to me, from day one that like you would need to play this in like a VR mode, or else they wouldn't have the cardboard option. There would just be this $100 like replica option or nothing. Right? Like it just like, or just play it on the TV if you don't want to spend the $100 to get like that Virtual Boy experience. So that was a big no duh. And like, I don't know, the complaints that people are having with that just seem like, I gotta talk about the Virtual Boy. This is a talking point or whatever. Easy content, right? But that mixed with this next thing that people have been saying is that when you launch the Virtual Boy app, there's like a disclaimer there on screen that says that this app requires an accessory. And now when I see those two things together, the blocked from dock mode, the required accessory, I mean, that just screams to me that this is the framework and foundation of exactly what you would expect when Nintendo releases Nintendo DS games on Nintendo Switch 2 on the NSO service. Because how do you do that if if there's only one screen and you can't do any like AirPlay or anything like that, like how do you do Nintendo DS games on Nintendo Switch 2? And I feel like ever since the announcement of Nintendo Switch 2 and that second USB-C port on the top of the system, like when I first saw that port, I'm like, they're doing it. They're doing DS. They're going to have an optional DS attachment. But that's not what they did and announced at the initial reveal. They showed that you can plug in a camera or that you can use it for charging while on tabletop mode. It's like, are those two things really such big deals that they would like put in an extra USB-C port? Like, this is Nintendo. They do the wackiest things. Like, they made bongo drums for the GameCube for like one single game, right? Like, they made the Virtual Boy, right? They are remaking the Virtual Boy for this Nintendo Switch Online app. Like, they went out of their way to do this. I thought, like, for sure that Nintendo would want to bury the existence of the Virtual Boy, never talk about it again, but here they are. They're bringing it back. And if they can bring back the Virtual Boy and release this consumer product of this replica for $100, and they built all this infrastructure for the apps that's like you can't play it on docked mode, have these disclaimers, like they're actually going to put this on the service and everything, like with these restrictions and all that. It's just, why would they not do the DS at this point, right? I honestly feel like it's inevitable that we're going to get a additional accessory to plug into the Switch 2 to make it a dual screen system, so that way you can play DS and 3DS games with the Nintendo Switch Online service. I mean, the Nintendo Switch Online service has always been the drip feed model, like it or not, like love it or hate it. Drip feed has been the way Nintendo has been doing it, and they can only drip feed for so long, right? They launched the Switch 2 with GameCube, and they've been drip feeding it. And like, what's next? It's either DS or Wii. And out of nowhere, they brought in Virtual Boy, and not all the Virtual Boy games are there from day one. Like, they're still gonna drip feed the rest of the Virtual Boy games, but it's just like another thing that they can drip feed. And I don't know, maybe there's some more obscure Nintendo stuff that they can do later. Maybe they'll do Game & Watch or something like that, or like the, I don't know, the N64 like CD or whatever that thing was. Maybe that'll come in the future, but I mean, the DS has such a big library. There's so much to pull from, and that'd be so exciting to get this accessory on there. And that got me thinking even further of like justifying like making this accessory. If you have like DS and 3DS games with NSO, I mean, Nintendo Switch 2 is pretty powerful now, right? It's like, could they even make brand new games, like DS style games for the Nintendo Switch 2, or just allow like third party companies to put games on the eShop, like, you know, their Nintendo DS games, and bring them onto modern platforms, and then utilize those dual screens without having to do any kind of like funky workarounds, or like if they just need touch controls, because the Nintendo Switch 2 screen is a touch device. So I don't know. I think that there's just so many possibilities with that. Or even like, I don't know, the YouTube app's coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. Maybe you can do like have a game like on your Switch 2 and then play YouTube on the top. That'd be pretty crazy, Nintendo, to do something like that. But you know, all that's before might have sounded like wishful thinking. But you know what else sounded like wishful thinking? Nintendo bringing Virtual Boy to the NSO service and making a replica Virtual Boy headset. Like, this is the most unreal thing that I've ever heard of, I've ever seen. Yet Nintendo's, they did it. They did that. And so the whole idea of DS on their NSO service, and then like making an accessory that you'd have to order and buy for the Nintendo Switch 2 to plug in the top to make it a dual screen clamshell device, that seems way more reasonable than this Virtual Boy thing going on. So, yeah, when they announced the Virtual Boy coming to the NSO, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was amazing. Like, they're actually doing this. Like, the hope for the DS is just out of control. Like, it's just so obvious at this point that they're eventually going to do this. Like, why would they not want to figure out a solution for it? And it's all laid out there. Can't play DS games docked mode. You need a required accessory for DS games. It's all there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.